Now, I found Sam an interesting case because, see, in Sam's situation, if I said to him, oh, 1, 4, 7, he could say back 1, 4, 7. If I said 1, 3, 9, 5, he couldn't handle that. He couldn't handle 1, 3, 9, 5. Okay, now I found that interesting because 1, 4, 7 was 4 sounds. And 1, 3, 9, 5 was 4 sounds. He could do this set of 4 sounds and he couldn't do that set. That's because he could say 3 numbers back and he couldn't remember 4 numbers. Sam, of course, was not saying, now wait, I can't say 7 back because that's a 2-syllable word. You know, he just said, you know, he could do 3 numbers. It didn't make any difference if the number was 7 or 9, even though 7 had more sounds in it. You know, and it didn't surprise me that it didn't make any difference to him. But I figured, now that's interesting because what would happen if for Sam, we first of all had Sam learn 2-sound words. Words, not 2-letter words, but like, this is a 2-sound word. This is at. What would happen if we taught Sam 2-sound words first? And when he could do 2-sound words, then we'd give him 3-sound words, because now this wouldn't be k at, it would be k at. Okay? And if we did that for Sam, then like if, okay, we gave him 2-sound words, then 3-sound words, and then phrases made up of words that are only 2 or, no, a phrase is made up of like 2 or 3 word sentences or phrases, and those words themselves only had 2 or 3-sound words in them. If we built a progression like that for Sam, could he learn to read? Yes. Sam learned to read. So we changed the program. This is also why programs take a long time to come up with, because that meant we had to get rid of everything we already had in terms of the words. They were not appropriate for Sam. They were only appropriate for most children, and most children was not the goal of the program. Now, what I'm going to do is provide you a framework, just briefly, a framework for why those particular pictures make those particular sounds before I teach you some sounds and let you begin reading. What I'm going to do is, this is the book, it's called Decode-if-you-can. This is the one I said was written back when Work Jobs was written. This is the book that provides the framework for why the particular sounds make this, or why the particular pictures make the sounds that they do. What I'm going to do is read you like the first 12 or 14 pages. I say that like I don't know how many I'm going to read to you. I'm going to read you up to page 14. Okay? But you have books on your table because you can't all see if I go like this, and I can't read upside down. So when I read it to you, you can follow along in the book. You have to share. Okay? There's only one book at your table. That doesn't mean the toughest, meanest, roughest person at the table gets to see it. In the mystical land of Dekodiphukan lived a very old king who was really quite grand. No bells, I'll just kind of let you know when to turn the page. But the king, whose name, by the way, was just I, sat down one day and began a long cry. Oh, he cried and he wouldn't be stopped, and his tears made a flood that couldn't be mopped. I'm embarrassed to say I'm not fit to lead. Should a person be king who can't even read? Why, king dear, you know that by no real plan, no one can read and decode if you can. We've all tried to read but can't handle the load, for in our special land, all's written in code. Your father before you changed all of our print, then went straight to heaven and left us no hint. This is a non-denominational heaven, and can be described any way you wish, or just leave that part out. You've tried and you tried that code to reveal, and each time you fail, the sadder you feel. So let's get another who willingly tries, and if they succeed, we'll give them a prize. Since we have no children of our very own, the decoder could be the next king on the throne. It took 3 more weeks till 2 heroes were found, by which time the town had all moved to high ground. The king gave to each a page of the code to take along with them wherever they rode. There are 44 pictures in all. 44? Was reading from them an impossible chore? Now, last year at the instructor's presentation, when I first read this book aloud, it was pointed out to me that I had spelled 44 a way that different than most of you were used to. That's how you can tell one edition of the program from the other. It's how 44 is spelled. For those of you that don't know what's wrong with it, then I'm with you. Because I still don't know what's wrong with it. Now, what will we do? Neil knew he should ask, and Tina replied, it's this page that's our task. What's the very first thing we surely must do? Why, look through the pictures and search for a clue. The dog in this picture, I'm sure I did see. As we came into town, he was guarding a tree. They rushed to that tree to see the dog closer, but the growl that he made them say, closer, no, sir. His growl was so fierce, they stayed where they were, while that dog bared his teeth and kept saying, "Err." That, of course, is the first sound of the program. And there's a whole bunch of things that children do at that point, but you're just going to learn, I don't know what you're going to learn yet, but don't pay any attention to that. "Hello," said a voice from way up in the tree. "Don't mind my dog, he's protecting me." "Well, tell him we're not here to hurt you at all, and come down from that tree, you really could fall." "A tree's not the best place I know to be living, but I ran here to hide from a fright I was given. I was busily helping my mother clean house, when out from a cupboard there jumped a big mouse. I spied that big mouse and screamed aloud, 'ee!' and ran from my house and climbed this safe tree." And as I meant to mention for the sound, you notice that the word that it is rhymed with is underlined, but just the part that's underlined is the part that's going to rhyme with. This book is written in rhyme because it's easier to hear a sound in isolation if you hear it at the end of a word and not at the beginning of a word. So that rhyme, okay? As he spoke, that old mouse ran right where they were, and again he screamed "ee" while his pet dog growled "err." "E-er, were the sounds to be heard," and Neil looked at Tina and said, "That's a word. I think that the code has just started breaking, for ear is the word in the sounds they are making. Two pictures together can make a whole word, like the E and the the sounds we just heard." So off to the king will rush with great haste to tell him his code is on sounds wholly based.